Hello G, bonjour. Quel mal est-ce que t'as? Ballome, shidam ballome, shidam ballome. Mano betigray yak lombalom.
Ballome, shidam ballome, shidam ballome. Ana betigray yak lombalom.
مارش غير دحر قمقام عديد ويتا السلام مهندس ناقوينات تحساس ترشيشو غبيبو كان وطي خايو فنصح صحابلك ألفي طناب جامو دك زاقرا بتاتين كاشكير كايو جرا عداق حاموسي جوا ماري حدش معرف عود تبسري
بلومي شدم بلومي بلومي شدم بلومي أنا بتقرأي هاي كلام بلومي
ما أخلتم بينا قاجو كادرقم قداج قتلنا بشوعة الحكم قرب قباية جلاف في نروى أبي الكاين وين قال اللوا أسقرت زنبلا دباقونا مايك نتال حوزين دكعزانا حلطارو وجرات قجت سامرة قبر كايوم نظري نظر نسوم حزوم بسماي براري قدموهم TDF بإغري تلعيلو مريتو لحيسو مكانا يزد بكلاش دمسيسو تقوايوم كأتو بتانكي تقوايوم كوتو بأدكي
بلومي شدم بلومي بلومي شدم بلومي أنا بتقرأي هاي كلام بلومي
مريت رايا جرجر قراك حسو وحيتوهم صلاتو درميسو كنا ماي روبي عدق سنبت دم بريت زيبلو مرير حمت والقايد صقري أبت سلمتي تقراي عدين رمت نصلاتي عسران حدن سننا بمغرب تملات تشرقو دقول تقاسي سوما ديتات نبيعو مسيلو ومزنو برو خوريعوم أمون السعساي وعرندو نهادن تركيبات عزلو تصفات ورامة قابيت عسرت بوفر ألا تخنبت وفر ديتات وفر صحي بالرق عدي زي بالخميلو كتصدق فحب اللوم كم تندق ثقرة رمت مريت كميلو كشقرة حاسي خايو مندو أبدن بازا صحاب فخاب شمونا هليزا
بلومي شدم بلومي بلومي شدم بلومي أنا بعدي أي كلام بلومي
رمت خوينا خبيراتهم خوينات أخذت لهم شوعة هاجرات تهاندي لهم عتيهم درونات تمكيحهم زرقنا نمتنات أي كأولن كلهم كسعرك خبيرهم ساينس كاميستركا أهديم كايوم فرع عبيلكا تلقهم حمشخش خدقيمكا عالمي ملكت ساعات لايت زرقيحن نايوين قورتها كسركا قواح قويحن كره وكره
وكله
كره غره غره
وكله خله
حرينو قتله
وكله
تقراين دابله
وكله خله
هم بن مجزاتي
وكله
هم بالله دابله
وكله خله
هم بن تنكاتي
وكله
هم بالله دابله
وكله خله
كره 4 كيلو
وكله
كابسرو كنقلو
وكله خله
كرنا بنططو
وكله
أركبو كزطو
وكله خله
فقر علي ود تقرأ أبلوا واي واي ويزا وعرو تقرأ أبلاتو وي وي كره وكره
وكله
كره خره خره
ዋይ ከደ ኸደ
حرينو قتل
ዋይ ከደ
تقراي اندابل
ዋይ ከደ ኸደ
هم بن مغزات
ዋይ ከደ
هم بالله دابل
ዋይ ከደ ኸደ
هم بن تنكات
ዋይ ከደ
هم بالله نابل
ዋይ ከደ ኸደ
كره 4 كيلو
ዋይ ከደ
كابسرو كنقلو
ዋይ ከደ ኸደ
كرنا بنططو
ዋይ ከደ
أركبو كزطو
ዋይ ከደ ኸደ
فقال لاي
and some in Ethiopia as well. But without further ado, if you ask me specific questions, I'll be happy to answer. But like I said, and I'm also a father, and I have two lovely boys, and I just serve my community, and also where I live in Denver, Colorado, and I also run the first FM radio station in the United States that runs with Tigray, Romania, and others. And also I run that radio station 24/7. In the meantime, that's been a very challenging in terms of keeping it running. But of course, as you know, United States is one of the great countries. So running media is a privilege, but at the same time is a challenge. But at the same time, that's your freedom of expression. So hopefully, this is a right time for our Tagalog family, and I have been doing that diligently. And as far as I'm concerned, and that's what I'm doing. Thank you.
Great. Well, last time you spent some time with us, and you did an amazing job during the inauguration of our church, and we really appreciate you on behalf of our community here in Chicago. My first question to you is, how was your experience that you were here in Chicago during the inauguration of our church? What do you learn from our community, and what can we learn from you?
Thank you so much. And first of all, I'd like to extend my greeting to all the Chicago family, and also for our the new church as well, the family of the new church. And it was a very pleasant. It's my privilege to be there, and also, of course, like I said, I'm a broadcaster, and I like to document everywhere that I get a chance, and happen to have a chance. With a few family that I know from the Tagalog community in Chicago, I was invited. It was a great experience. Of course, the church is also in the right, right community, and it has a very seems like a vibrant community, and also it's kind of quiet area as well. And it has a mix, like residential, at the same time as a business district. So I think that makes the church in a very, a right side of the community, in order to connect the church not only with the Tagaro community, but but the surrounding. So that makes the neighborhood also blessing, and make sure to share the community with what the church is doing, and then what the neighborhood also should aware what the church is doing at the same time. So that's what I saw. But other than that, the community, the Tagaro, of course, there's no question asked. Everywhere we go, even we're small, but it's very tight. So there's a figure of speech in English. They say it's not the quantity, is the quality. So it's not the number, that's how the quality people that you have. So I think that's what I observe. And at the same time, I see a lot of matured or older family. Like I like to see more in the future. Hopefully, the young people, more young people to participate and keep the church, also the community as well. Not only to have the spiritual, also, but I mean just in general, to bring the community together. The facility, the church also has a lot of space that can be utilized to bring the young folks and to network in terms of to learn specific safe. So, and I think that's what I observed. But other than that, I've been there just only 2 days, and it's very hard to say more. But hopefully, I'll have a chance to visit more. And I have seen a lot of church all over the country, especially in the United States. I think this would be a great opportunity for the church to tackle the togetherness of the Tagaru and the Tagaru young people as well, and especially, of course, keep the spiritual vibrant. And then I know the other second question you raised, and the experience that we can share. I think there's a lot of folks that more than that I know, in terms of running the church, and especially in specific areas. I think it's just to you need to connect where in the surrounding, like I said earlier, which means you let the community know you're there, and then also you let of course, when the church is open, there's a specific things that they need to fulfill. You have to have a building license, you have to have a building permit, you have to have an ownership, and so on and so on. Those things are provided with the local jurisdiction offices. And then at the same time, the congregation brings a lot of community members. And also, those are taxpayers. Those people are who lives in that area. Maybe they can live far away too. So the church has become a kind of a center, bringing everybody. So the church has to be a bridge between the community and surrounding, but also the system of this country. So I think that will also start, connecting with elected officials, connected to the local district or the local where the church is located, specifically who represents with the council member as well, and also to reach out, the local fire department, the local police department, the local immigrations and others who provide services. Let the church introduce themselves and then start a bridge. And because eventually, a lot of Tagaro, the church member, or even if they're not a church member, they may need some other kind of assistance in terms of how to get, their immigration paper, translation, or if their children need like school information, scholarship, and others. There's so many things that the church will need to provide to their members. So those things, you cannot send someone to outside the church to get the service. You need to bring the service at the church, have a facility there, and eventually you can hire professionals by getting some support from there's so many support financially and other way, professionally, or even with in-kind donations. Some of them they can come as an intern from the university, and others they can be non-Tagaro. They could come there and help, but at the same time, all they do is they get their experience and then they just put in a resume. But at the same time, you need to reach out to local educational departments, and they'll provide that internship to the church. So, but you need to do the groundwork. There's a lot of paperwork into it. There's a lot of strength. It may take a little time, but after you finish the whole process, it's so much easier. And then the church will have a specific plan and what to do in terms of developing the community, at the same time helping the members of the spiritual members as well. So it goes both way, because not all Sagaros goes to that church. Maybe they may have a different faith, but they still can get the service in the church. At the same time, for those who are in the same spiritual per se, they also can be benefit. But at the same time, the church be on the center of to provide the service, but at the same time, it will be a bridge with the American system, so they can mentor the children, but also they can keep the family. And then when the church strong, if you have a child, if somebody wants to bring their children, they don't have to take them to a babysitter somewhere else, but the church can take care and teach them Tigrinya, teach them the culture and all on. And then instead of some people go to have 2-3 jobs, and they can they can do different things, and then they can go to school and take care of family. So it makes the family stronger. And then at the same time, the burden will be leveraged with the church has its own services. But in order to do that, I know I got some information earlier. The council member is not. I don't think she's not that far from the church. You can correct me. I think she's on 4200 West Lawrence, which is the church is on 43
35
50 some. Is on just yes. So so they're not that far. I think her name is Nagati Samata. She's the councilwoman of that district, and then we're doing this discussions on Monday, which is today. Every Monday, with your local Chicago time from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m., she have a town hall meeting, which means you can go every Monday. There's no appointment, but forgive me if they change because of COVID, if they do virtual or what have you, just find out. Every Monday, there is a meeting. It's called Word 3039, I think. That's what the word is all. That's where the district is called. The meeting every Monday from the church. Go there and meet with her, or if she's there, if she's not there, meet with her staff, and arrange a meeting with her for her to come and visit the church. You introduce the church. This is in your district. We are here. We would like to introduce ourselves, and we want to connect, and we want to know what your department or your council office can provide for immigrants. For us, as you know, we just have this church, but eventually we would like to make the church to have this kind of services, and we wanted to make sure that your office will assist us. That's the first step. The second step will be the next level, because she's also worked with the mayor. She's a council member, so she's under the mayor offices. So she will have a leverage to let the mayor aware of it. But at the same time, the church needs to designate a certain group of certain people that will communicate with her and also with the mayor's office. And then eventually there was also a meeting takes place every 2 weeks or what have you, but I haven't seen the schedule yet. The council meets every based on their schedule. So as a citizen, you as a church or anyone have a right to go speak with them for 3 minutes or 2 minutes. So someone who will be assigned, you let her know that someone's coming to introduce the church. It was just exist in that neighborhood. And you go to the town meeting, you let them know, hey, this is our, you can take the priest or you can take the deacon with you. or you can, whoever wants to show up, but somebody has to speak for 3 minutes, introduce the church. And then also the whole council member will know about it. And then after that, you can request the mayor or anyone to come and visit you. And then they will say, contact with our staff and we'll arrange. After the mayor visit, or if the mayor visit, or if they send somebody, that's when you sit down and let them know what your plan is, what kind of service you want to do. This is not, not talking about the spiritual services. That's a separate. They have nothing to do with that. They usually do, the social services, the community development, starting jobs, anything that the other community does. Instead of the Tagaro community or the church member goes to somewhere else to get the services, they can do it at the church. So the reason being, the church will stay more stronger, but at the same time, all kind of resources available for the church. So the church will not have any burden to keep its members, but at the same time to keep the strongest of the Tagaro intact. So that's benefits in this country. So I think to start with the council member first, and then move on to that. And then when things become either an engine or to office, there's a lot of resources available to a spiritual community. Because as you can see, I don't know if you have a chance, maybe when you drive around, I hope you saw like one church have a playground in their building.
Yeah.
Yes. The reason is that because it's not because they want the children to play while they do the service. No, the church provide daycare inside their church for their members and for their surrounding community. And then that church get a support and assistance from the government, from the local council, from the mayor to govern. So there is a system to do that. So we can do the same thing. We can keep the children, our children, neighborhood children, and then also they will hire a professional who deals with children to the school, the same thing to the church, So it kind of, for me, maybe it's easy to say it, but, it may need a proper or a certain business plan in the church. I know you have a lot of young people who are very familiar about the system. So you just need to lay out that in the process. And then the other issue, as you know, currently with our Tagaro family that we're facing, what's going on and back home, that's another issue. Of course, spiritual is also, it's kind of nice to get some support, counseling. Some people, some families, they may have some issues in their family back home or what have you, so they may need the spiritual guidance and support. But at the same time, some family maybe wants to bring their mom, sister, dad, but right now they cannot do that, or some issue they may face. So you can bring an immigration official from USAID, from a U.S. Citizen and office locally. You can invite them virtually, or they can come in person and they can speak. So you need to have a space, not during the church service, but I see some of the building. We have a huge space there. You can have a meeting. So for those who have issue of immigration, not only just right now, but if they have it previously, if they have any kind of immigration issue, they can deal with that. They can speak that. They allow. You can invite them. They do come. But sometimes, let me talk to a lawyer, blah, blah, sometimes you need to specifically hear it from them. And then if they know there's a church involved, they do respect that, So I do have that experience. Some institutions in the government, especially if the church has a higher level, because they know the church would do a great job by mentoring families to keep together. So that's another issue. And then at the same time, tutoring, like if there's a family, if they cannot tutor because of the time strains, the children based on their age and grade level. So that's another thing. So if the church provides a space for the Tagaro children to have a school mentoring or helping on homework and others, so the city or the school will work with the church to provide certain qualified tutors at the church and a certain hours, so then a lot of Tagalog family can bring their children. So the church has to facilitate that. In order for to keep that, so there will be a financial grant the church can apply at the city or with the Department of Education and others. This is a federal level. So there's so many things, but you need to start it from the connecting first. So the councilwoman, currently she's the first person that she can start, the ice breaking. So the church just exists. You just introduce to her, and then of course ask her. She just don't come and visit, and that's it. And at the same time, those elected officials change periodically. So she needs to make sure that when she leaves the office, that whoever the next official to kind of take over. So you need to connect with the department, not only with those elected ones, because the elected ones, they will change, but those who are on department, they're professional, they are employees, they stay there, so they know what's going on. So the church needs to be, known in those government offices. Every time when it comes to Tagalog, so they need to know the community, but under the church, so they will invite you during any kind of information if they wanted to disseminate to the community. So the church has to be very vigilant in order to get some time, but not only financial support, but anything that will be beneficial to the Tagalog community as a whole. I like to stress one thing, because right now, as you know, the situation back home that we had is, when you say, where you from, if they say Tagalog or something, maybe they may not know. Oh, when you say Ethiopia, oh, okay. So they need to know the distinguish, because right now, so the Tagalog community has to be very strong, but we are very small in numbers. So they need to know the difference in terms of why we Tagalog needs a separate entity of as a minority indigenous people, that why we need this kind of service. So there's somebody has to explain to them. Some of them already know the current situation, but we just need to know them that what our cultures and what our need and what our spiritual gathering, why so separate from others. So they need to know that very diligently, in order for them to understand we do have a very cultural differences, and then we also have the service that we're requesting has nothing to do with any kind of political affiliation. So this is only genuinely for community and Tagalog community development, especially for folks who live in the Chicago area. So having said that, the most important part right now is just the ice breaking. So you guys have to plan who will be communicating with the council women. First with Samantha, she was the one to start the whole thing. Eventually, she will provide the information also. I mean, she knows, but at the same time, you just got to connect. And then the other thing, the neighborhood. I know that the church is surrounded with a very decent neighborhood. So the neighborhood also needs to know that the church is there. I mean, you can just put a little small flyer and say, hey, this is the, St. Mary's own church. The priest is so's name or phone number here. We are your new neighbors, and then you just toss it to all the neighborhood. Because you know what? Next time when it's a Sunday's church and you park our congregation, you may park in front of their residence or something every Sunday. So so they can understand that you're not there every day, but it's just to kind of be a good neighbor. But at the same time, they also may have a neighborhood association or so you make sure you connect with them, so to keep the neighborhood, and then to make the church also their surroundings safer. Maybe sometimes people can walk to the church or going back to their car, and to make sure that there will be a safety issue. But other than that, like I said, is the most important part is to make a connection, and then there is a lot of benefit for the church from the city level all the way to the federal level. So, and that's the most important. So three institution that they can tap in, Department of Education or the Department of Homeland Security, which is under immigration, and then also, of course, from the governor, the mayor, and then the council member. Those are the major things that the church needs to connect. Other than that, in between, the church will bring professionals, and then they will give them an idea how to tap into internship. Those that they can be non-Tagaros or they can be Tagalog graduates or anyone else that would be able to support at the church. And then there's another group of non-profit organization also would like to work with the church. That's the main thing. So when you do those things, most of the financial support will keep the service, so you'll have more members coming, and the church will stay. And then, of course, the church will have, pay the building. They may not have financial. They may have another financial resources and what have you. But in the meantime, you just need to make the first ice breaking with the council. Like I said, every Monday, please attend her meeting. Every Monday, do not hesitate. You send someone. Every day it could be different. Put your presence there, and then every information they have is very helpful. Those are things that will do that. And then because they will tell you if there is any financial support available, there's a grant available. And then if you have technical assistance you need, like I said, there's a lot of university do support nonprofit organizations, including community, how the people work, and it can alleviate that. So it's just, there's a type of information, so you need to have a little small community gathering. Like you can set up like a computer, some of that, they can come and check their email, they can write, some of our older family, they can come there, they can get help, like a young one, they can tap their own phone these days. You don't need a computer. But for the older one, they may not even have a phone. If they do, they can't see. So have a little small computer lab in that one of the facility there. So the city and with the school and with the nonprofit organization, then with the foundation, they can set that up for the church. All you have to do is tell the council, hey, we're a new neighborhood, we're immigrants, we are Tagaro church, and our members is this small, but we like this service. We have a very strong community. Why don't you guys? So there's a lot of donations, computer donation available, so they could at least set up that computer lab for the children. You know what? During the service time, you can keep the children, do their school or teach them Tigray, what have you. You can keep them while their families doing the service at the same time. So that's very helpful. And then eventually, whatever the plan of the church have, so you can discuss with that, like I say, with all of the council, the educational department, and also with the safety and immigration and other officials from their own respected department. And it's just a long work, but like I said, I'd just like to stress it again. Start with the law, with this cross from the church, the council. Just luckily, the church council members is not that far. It's just I know that it's just around the corner. So I think it is good to introduce her, and then eventually invite her, and then put a business plan or let her know what the church is needing in terms of on the social and the community development wise. On the spiritual perspective, that responsibility lays on the church only. There's no special assistance for to bring in more members or spiritual. That's accepted to the members. That's not affiliate. So just don't get me wrong on that one, because if you want Bible to buy, or if you want incense or jantala, whatever, that's just strictly separate to this. So the spiritual gathering is nothing to do. So there's no government support on that. So make sure you differentiate. So whenever the religion experience, that's left to the members. But when it comes to the social and for community development, and then for the service the church wants to bring to the Tagaro families, that's what they need support or any kind of what the each department will provide, and that's they entitled to ask. And I think this is what my experience, and also down the line, if when the church was doing the process, if something issue arise or something kind of they need, please do not hesitate. Myself and there's other institution that also will provide. So I'll be happy to share during that time. But right now, I'm just giving you the glimpse of what is available. But when the church start doing the process, if anything comes up, please don't hesitate. They can contact us or me, and then also I can provide who is responsible in the Chicago area.
Great. Well, you already answered most of my questions. But since you live in Denver, and I believe you have a lot of experience regarding church, so you already mentioned what benefit we can get from the neighborhood, from the government, all kind of stuff. But from your experience, what other resource do you think we should we should use or available in our community? In addition, what you said, financial, to make sure financial stable our church. What can we do? Other stuff. What other sources should be available for our church? And I think, yeah, most of them you already answered it, and I just want to mention that I would like, to mention that your radio station, how they can meet you, our community. And the first few seconds, our system was mute, so I want to make sure you got the information, our audience got the information. I want to make sure who you are and what radio station you have and how can they contact you. So that's all. Most of the information is already passed on, so just give us more information about that, and we're done for today's discussion. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it, Thomas. But just to reiterate what I was just saying, I mean, in each state, there is a lot of difference of assistance or any resource available for any organization, including church. Church is a little bit different because church has its own mission because it has a spiritual gathering, so they're very, very cautious how to provide the service because, like I said earlier, the church not asking any specific financial support from any foundations or government or any federal or state or local level to make sure they provide services to the members. Like I said earlier, those are kind of they're available, but the church has to create a different committee that will handle that. In order, so when you do that, your church will have a space. So those space will be renovated for the mentoring class or for any kind of service they give. So the church will utilize that. So in order to renovate that building for the classroom, a computer lab, or for the office to be used for mentoring or for elderly daycare. Let's say our older people wants to come there, spend time. So all this kind of, that's a community development. So instead of the community pitching money and trying to renovate all that, it's going to take a long time because of, the strengths, the current situation, or with the number of the population. So, but since those members, all of them, Tagaro, are taxpayers, so they're entitled to ask those kind of services from all departments. But based on what you do is what each department will reflect. Let's say if we're going to open a computer lab, the mayor's office, the local educational departments, all the way until federal educational department was responsible. So in order to get those supports, guess what? Your council member, as well as the area Congress and representatives are supportive. So you need to make sure introduce the church that exists, especially with the current situation. I don't think any Congress or senator does not know about Tigray now these days. They know us. So it is a great time to introduce. After you introduce with the council, the next step also, I'd like to mention the local senator and Congress, invite them. The churches exist, and the church needs some kind of federal assistance in order to keep the children, to mentor the Tagaro community, and just put your business plan, but at the same time, what is the urgent need of the church to continue to support the Tagaro families? Not only the one who comes to the church, like I said, all the Tagaro family in general. So that's the main things. So that's when you find out what resource available, who will be able to help. That's when you define. Right now, we just talked about what is exist, and not when we go to the business, when the church plans and what first, what's second, what's the long term, what's the short term plan, and then that's when we can find out, hey, can we tap this organization? Can we tap this elected official? The plan goes not only accordingly, but the plan has to sit. We have to see it. But right now, I'm just giving you what is available. But in the meantime, it is a great country in the United States. We all live in this great country, but at the same time, you have to network. You have to use the system of this country in order to they call it community development. That's how a lot of our Tagaro young people can go to great school. They can get a good great training, but at the same time, so when they attend a great school and have a great self-esteem and being surrounded in a great church, for them to succeed and become a great citizen in this country is one of the things they need. So that's why they want to support the church. And that's why, like I said earlier, if you drive like 2 miles from where you are in Chicago, if you see any church, you'll see a playground. That playground, because that church has been very assisted by local educational department or some of the, that's why they're built for them. Guess what? They keep the children in, they mentor their children based on the curriculum and the standard. But the church, if they don't have professional, that's where the financial support comes in. They can hire. Hey, we can hire. Can you give us salary funding? We would like to have 2 teachers that will teach our Tagaro children, but anyone who wants to register. That's the main thing that I can tell you right now. But the business plan or the church, what they like to do, if they lay it out and then step by step, long term and short term, and we can decide who can help us.
Great. So, like I said earlier, everything you said been already addressed. I just want to make sure our audience know more about you. Sorry, at the first few seconds, your information, your name, and about the radio station could be missing. So, can you tell us more about that? So, our people will meet you and contact you, and make sure they will follow you on your radio station.
Yes, thank you so much. The radio station has been licensed by the federal government of the United States almost, it's going to be 5 years, but this is a long work. We've been on air since 2017. We got our first license from the federal government of the United States, which is the FCC, and then we're the first one to have it. I mean, a lot of radio stations all over the United States, they say radio station, but most of them, they lease or they air time and they broadcast a lot of Tigray, Oromo, and other language with that we understand. But the radio station I'm running, I'm not listening to from anybody. We have our own antenna, we have our station, we have our call letters. They call it call letters, which is like, I don't know if in your station, every TV station and radio station, they have their own name. So that's how we have ours is called KETO FM, which is a 93.9 we broadcast 24/7, and currently, we just play Tagalog songs just to keep our family and community feel, with the current situation. So we're trying to keep them as happy as possible, and a lot of folks are really appreciate that. And at the same time, for those who are not in the area, they can tune us. If they have a smart TV at home, we on the Roku TV. If they have Roku TV, if they search KETO FM, and they'll see us. They'll find us. A lot of people, including all over the Middle East and others, they listen to us on the Roku TV. And then if you are, let's say you have a smartphone, you just search KETO FM, and you'll get all kind of link to listen to us, because we are broadcast. We're not specifically just a program. We are broadcast, so we are by law. We are everywhere to be disseminated in terms of, since we are Alliance's broadcaster. And then hopefully, if folks wants to reach us directly, we do have a Facebook link, that KETO Denver, and then they can reach us out. And also, if they want to be live, if they want to have something to say, or if they have some kind of information they'd like to share, or if they wanted to get some information from us, they can call us directly. Phone number is 720-721-3232. And it is, the area code is 720, and then the next number is 721-3232, a very easy number. And so they can call us. And then also, just for time strength, I would like to, if anyone wants to get directly to me, and they can contact you, so they can get my cellular phone. I just don't want to say it over the air, because it's kind of overwhelming to get a lot of calls. But they can call us directly. But if they really, some people wants the picture, or if they wanted to get some kind of service from us, if they wanted to, they can contact you, and then you can contact us if that's very urgent. But anyway, online, they search us KETO FM. On YouTube also, we exist, the same thing, KETO FM. But at the same time, we're on Twitter, same, KETO FM. If they search us, we're there. Like I said, if they need directly contact, it's 720-721-3232. And Facebook is the most connection that we can, periodically, that we respond a lot of times. We post the pictures and videos, podcasts, and then also anything that folks will send us to broadcast for them. Let's say our Tagalog musicians release some new songs, or if any spiritual information, or if anything, flyers that they need to provide to the community. Facebook is also kind of an urgent way to communicate with us. So KETO FM has its own Facebook. We have two of them. One is a page, one is a person one. So whichever message you send, we'll receive it and we'll get back to you. Let's say if you wanted to broadcast any programs that locally here, if you want to, let us know. We'll be happy to work with you. But I know it's kind of difficult to get the station out to another places. But hopefully, that's at no work. But in the meantime, that's how they can reach us. If anybody, like I said, KETO Denver is Facebook that I can respond. And then if I'm in the studio, or if anybody on the studio, they can call us on 720-721-3232. We can put them on the air, or they can leave a voice message. And then every Saturday, we like to have a talk show and by the set topics in Tigrinya. So hopefully, if anybody wants to participate, we'd be happy to do so. And personally, I do really love the young people. I mean, I grew up here, so I know how it's very challenging is. It is. I say it from a personal experience. So we need to make sure keep our young people intact with their family, but at the same time, those young people they may not say it, but they do want to know about their culture, the language, um, the everyday custom that we do. So we need to keep the children close to the community, because the more they grow, the more dominant of the environment they go to, so they may tend to be separated. So to make sure to keep them is to do it from the young age, from the foundation, so they can keep that bonding with their family come from. So that's very important. And then at the same time, and I really stress the church to kind of focus on the young people, especially those who are grown. When they baptize them, those children, that's their church kids, not only for their parents. Those baptized kids, that belongs to the church too. So they need to follow, make sure that family's doing good, taking care of, and make sure how the children's doing. So that's the church responsibility. Not just because they baptize and that's it. That's not, keep each children's name who by being baptized, keep their picture in the file. Make sure that's what that development that we're talking about, to get the financial support and others to alleviate. So make sure those young people belongs to that church, and the family will be supportive. But at the same time, the family even also will come to church all the time, because if you keep it, mentor and help those children, the family will have enough time to spend and other things that will kind of give them a burden to keep the children and babysitters and others. So the church will help them. So that's why. So young people are very important. And guess what? When they grow up, those children will take over, and not only just the church, but the whole community. Just like we've seen it in the current situation. Especially they grow up here. Those are the ones who are very vibrant, what I witnessed. So that's a testimony I'd like to share. And so make sure that we keep in closer with the young people. And of course, not in the spiritual world, but in the other side of the world, they said music and sports bring people together. So, and that's how we do it on the radio, to make sure we have Tagalog songs and others, and to keep our family here in Denver together. And without any further ado, I know we may probably finish our conversation, but if you have any questions regarding what I spoke about earlier about the church and how to connect with other institutions, please let me know. And there's other professionals available. I'm sure there's other than I do, who are more aware and more, even could be in the Chicago area, that would be able to support and make sure the church and also the Tagalog community that gets all the support they can get. But in the meantime, thank you very much for having me, and hopefully I may come back to the church again and see all my people again. And thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, brother and daddy. Thank you for sharing your experience with us, and we really appreciate your advice and support, brother. So yeah, today's program was this much. So next time we'll meet with other discussion. Thank you for your time, and we learn a lot from you, and thank you for the information that you give us. Thank you, brother.
Yeah, thank you so much. And then don't forget, the councilwoman is tonight, your local time, 5 p.m. to 8 p.m.
Yeah.
Today is Monday, and if you or someone else, would like to visit her, please, extend the time and make sure you meet with her starting today and every Monday. And then having said that, thank you very much, and hopefully I'll see you again, Thomas. I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Take care.
Thank you.
عدي عد جقال تابع المنيو نعبد عدين كل تمانتا بزن خل ناس مويتليتا ليلة 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 وايلة حوي في اللي ما انتهي ليون ليلة حوي في اللي ما انتهي ليون ليلة من مخير واسوع سوى على نايس قدري فم سيطان زحابنا معركة من دلو زحابك على مريم تيونا النجاش لو متدفرا فتارو لو سوصع مزمرنا فداي حنيت ولو صحيك عربي صحيك عربي صحيك عربي والعخمي تقراي كله بعل سري تاريخ زو عربي زلو زنبري تعدنا عد سب تخبر صباح منو بهالسلطان زقنتنا على مزقرما حدنا تريم نعرف حدنا ميتلو متام تسافر داود أقول لكم ولا دسعري فتار عزنا كل سجري كل سجري كل سجري خبر خبر حلم جاي شلنا سماي ملايك علو خان سوي عم زراي وعروه ستم قناتا تاريخ دقامي تخمدتاتا عسيسي أتقالو قدمنا تقالو عيمن تولوس عيانا بولو علخم دلخم علخم دلخم دك عدي معاري ازقي حلاوخم سليمانو عمنا أرقاوت صحي داموس دبر غاي صحر غال عدي تقراي حدر غاي سليمانو اللهم دون اللهم دون سمك عدي اللهم دون استلخ دون اللهم دون لك حلال مريت اللهم دون اللهم دون اللهم دون تقراي سعدهم اللهم دون عبت عبت عاكم صوتي حسونا بي قدمينا يتقزعوا من زوري اقرأي زبرخنا ان حدا نسقي كباب رزقنا سلام زنادي زي تقرأي من لنا عدي لقاي شلاي سمي لايك الغان سوي عم زراي تقارو قدمنا تقالو عيمن تبولوس ميانا بولو زبا يقرمن الله دقاقيمو عرنتاي بدي لا يخون عايز كله يفولتنو دار اللي يتقيلو كما نقرامت يعني لو حبت كله يقيلو على وز الصحانو حلقاي شلانا يسماي لايك الغان سوي عم زراي تقارو قدمنا تقالو عيمن تبولوس ايانا بولو ايانا بولو هم بالليل بي حزوهم بي حوي قرما يبكان زي عد عودي زي خفي قوي قد كابوني قد ما خصل حني تقرا عديني لي عيان سيايو حرام زي دانا بلا اللي قديم ود من دي انا لا 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 بقدر نزعدي بجوالي سياب على الحمود جديد زكا لسني زفر حنمو قد زيهلا بريمي قد زيهلا تيغراي قد زيهلا بعد قد زيهلا على من يوم تبا سبسر سبحابا عمل الحسام له مسست المعلو بعدو وبخورو وبهزو ليس كله لما صغيرو وجديرو من حقري يوم تتخلو عتب عدو بهزو وبخورو ليس كله لما صغيرو وجديرو من حقري يوم تتخلو لوي فكم خمل قبل نعديا خبري رمي عباي كتون اللي زا تقراي نعدي ان تقراي زعدي وزا تقراي عد تقالو زقرا عدي عد تقالتي زقرا عدي زقراي عد تقالو عدي 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 خبري رمي زقراي عد تقالو شوي عابو نادي ود خنتاي ولد كل خنتاي سيلا وعر خنتاي ولد كل خنتاي مالد حد راي زقانا ايضل من يبلد سقراي عد تقادل وعر خنتاي ولد كل خنتاي مالد ود خنتاي ولد كل خنتاي سيلا حد راي زقانا ايضل من يبلد سقراي عد تقادل عدي 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 خبري ريمو من يوم تبا سبسر سبحابا حمل حصم منه مسست المعنى بعد وبخبره وبهزوه ليس كونه لموسقيرهم تجينهم حقر يوم تزهر عتبعنا وبخبره وبهزوه ليس كونه لموسقيرهم تجينهم حقر يوم تزهر لوي فكم خمل خبل نعدي خبري رمي عباي خطوان ليس تقراي نعدي إذا تقراي إذا عدي وإذا تقراي عد تقالو تقري عدي عد تقالو وإذا تقراي تقراي عد تقالو عدي 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 خبري رمي تقراي عد تقالو عبد عبد ود خنتاي ولد كل خنتاي سيلا وعر خنتاي ولد كل خنتاي مالد حد راي زقانا ايضل من يبلد سقراي عد تقادل وعر خنتاي ولد كل خنتاي مالد ود خنتاي ولد كل خنتاي سيلا قال سواد حدري ايضل من يبلد سقراي عد تقادل عدي 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 خبري ريمو